There's something powerful about finding peace in God, even when life around you isn't peaceful. Welcome to HisTime365. Today is day 185, and we're reading Psalms 122 through 125. These Psalms remind us that God surrounds and protects those who trust Him. Finding peace and strength in the Lord. A journey through Psalms 122 to 125. Have you ever felt the weight of the world pressing down on you, leaving you longing for peace and security? In this exploration of Psalms 122 to 125, we'll discover how these heartfelt songs can guide us towards a sense of belonging, strength, and unwavering faith in the Lord. Let's dive into Psalm 122, a song of ascent sung by the people as they traveled to Jerusalem. The psalmist begins by expressing joy at the invitation to go to the house of the Lord. Can you imagine the excitement of gathering with family and friends, heading towards a place of worship? Our feet shall stand within thy gates, O Jerusalem. Psalms 122, verse 2. This psalm paints a beautiful picture of unity and purpose. Jerusalem, a city built in harmony, symbolizes the heart of God's people, where worship, community, and divine presence converge. As the psalm continues, the psalmist acknowledges the importance of praying for the peace of Jerusalem. This isn't just about the city, it's about the well-being of the community as a whole. Peace be within thy walls, and prosperity within thy palaces. Psalms 122, verse 7. In our modern lives, we can reflect on this by considering our own communities. Are we actively seeking peace in our neighborhoods, workplaces, and families? Imagine a workplace where colleagues genuinely support one another, fostering a culture of collaboration instead of competition. This is the kind of peace that the psalmist yearns for. Moving into Psalm 123, the tone shifts slightly. The psalmist lifts their eyes to God, recognizing Him as the source of help and mercy. Unto thee lift I up mine eyes, O thou that dwellest in the heavens. Psalms 123, verse 1. It's a heartfelt cry for assistance, a reminder that we can turn to God in our times of need. Think about those moments when you felt overwhelmed, maybe at work, struggling with deadlines, or in family situations that seem impossible. In those times, lifting our eyes to God can be a powerful act of faith. We acknowledge that while we may not have all the answers, He does. The psalmist goes on to express feelings of contempt from those around them, which many of us can relate to in today's world. Whether it's criticism from peers or the pressure of social media, feeling judged can be exhausting. Our soul is exceedingly filled with the scorning of those that are at ease. Psalms 123, verse 4. Here we find a comforting reminder that we are not alone in our struggles. In our digital lives, we often present an idealized version of ourselves, but this psalm calls us to be authentic in our vulnerabilities. Sharing our burdens with trusted friends or family can lighten our load and create deeper connections. Psalm 124 shifts gears, celebrating the protection and deliverance of God. The psalmist reflects on how, if it had not been for the Lord, they would have been overwhelmed by their enemies. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side. Psalms 124, verse 1. This powerful declaration invites us to consider the many times we have experienced God's protection in our own lives. Perhaps you faced a challenging situation at work, and just when you thought all was lost, a solution appeared. Or maybe during a family crisis, a friend stepped in with support. These moments remind us that God is present even when we don't see it. As the psalm continues, it likens God's deliverance to a bird escaping from the snare. Our soul is escaped as a bird out of the snare of the fowlers. Psalms 124, verse 7. This imagery is both vivid and comforting. It encourages us to trust God to free us from the traps that life sets before us. Picture yourself in a difficult situation, perhaps juggling financial pressures or mental health struggles. Trusting God to lead you out can transform your perspective. Instead of feeling trapped, you can find hope in His ability to rescue. Finally, we arrive at Psalm 125, which beautifully illustrates the security of those who trust in the Lord. They that trust in the Lord shall be as Mount Zion, which cannot be removed. Psalms 125, verse 1. This imagery of a mountain symbolizes stability and strength, reminding us that when our foundation is in God, we can withstand the storms of life. Just like a sturdy mountain stands firm against the elements, so can we stand strong in our faith, no matter what challenges we face. The psalmist concludes with a prayer for God's guidance and protection over His people. Do good, O Lord, unto those that be good. Psalms 125, verse 4. This is a hopeful declaration that God sees our efforts and desires to bless us. In our everyday lives, this can be a call to act with kindness and integrity, knowing that our actions carry weight in God's eyes. Whether it's being honest at work or showing love to our family, every good deed contributes to a greater purpose in God's kingdom. In summary, Psalms 122 through 125 beautifully weave together themes of community, divine help, protection, and unwavering faith. They remind us to seek peace in our surroundings, lift our eyes to God in times of need, trust in His deliverance, and remain steadfast in our faith. As we navigate life's journey, let us remember that our foundation is secure in the Lord. How can you seek peace in your community or workplace this week? In what ways can you lift your eyes to God during challenging times? Can you recall a time when you felt God's protection in your life? What happened? Thanks so much for joining me today for HisTime365. Remember, today's reading is Psalms 122 through 125, so be sure to spend some time with those verses during your quiet time. Tomorrow, we'll be diving into Psalms 126 through 128, so feel free to read ahead if you'd like to prepare. If you enjoyed this time together, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell so that you never miss a day on this journey. I'll see you back right here tomorrow for day 186. Until then, stay encouraged, and thank you for giving God His time today.